One of the things I would say often to my single friends back when I was married was that I didn't envy them because the entire dating game looked like a complete mess. Just from the way people would talk about it online, from their own reports about their own experiences. And I was cool, right? My wife and I got married when I was 24. She was 26, young lovers, all that, right? But now that I've been single after her passing and I've actually been in the pool a little bit, I'm actually grateful to report that I haven't experienced a lot of the stress and the drama that a lot of people have. And I'm so grateful. I mean, I think part of that is simply because I attract a certain type of person. You get around me, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm perfectly okay with that. And on top of that, it's because of a few of the things I'm going to discuss in this video right now. So I believe the Lord in his infinite wisdom has graced me with a certain amount of wisdom to be able to help, I believe, in this area. So in this video, I want to share just four thoughts, right? Just as one, two, three, four thoughts that I feel will help you reset inside of the dating game and actually attract or find a potential partner that is solid for you. I mean, if that's your thing, if you're here for a good time, not a long time, then this video might not be for you, because if you use these ideas to manipulate somebody, you're gonna have to come see me, because that's just not how we get down over here. You feel me? So the first idea that I want you to take in and consider in helping you, reset yourself inside of the entire dating arena is that you have to know yourself. Forget trying to get to know somebody else. Forget trying to figure out a proper technique or strategy. Forget the psychology of it all. You need to know you. You need to know not just like what you don't like, what you're attracted to. I feel like all of those are very surface level and very easy to figure out. What you need to figure out is, what are your values, right? What principles are you building your life on? What are the boundaries that you live inside of? What are the boundaries that you're not going to allow anybody else to cross? These are the things that will essentially set your magnetic waypoint. This is going to set your North Star, not only for yourself, but for the type of person coming into your life. I remember my wife telling me before we started dating that the way she would move about the world literally attracted a certain type of guy to her. And once she recognized that and she didn't want to attract those kind of guys anymore, she changed things up, changed the way she dressed, changed the way she spoke, really did a lot of the inner work and shifted her state of being. And she said within 2 months, 3 months, I showed up. Now, granted, I had been in her life for actually 4 years prior, but the fact of the matter is there was a shift in that time frame. And not only with her, I'm sure with me as well. I mean, I'm not going to get into it in this video. We'll talk about it another time. Fact of the matter is, how you show up in the world, the way you carry yourself, what's important to you, what you value, really calls in everything else around you. So if you've noticed that you tend to keep on accepting people into your life that violate your boundaries, that violate your principles and all of the rest, I think you need to sit with yourself and ask, why is it that you keep violating your boundaries? Why is it that you keep transgressing your own principles? Because the people that you're seeing in your life truly are just mirroring, they're just reflecting the type of care and concern that you have for yourself. Now, granted, it's not a one-to-one correlation. I get it. But it is extremely likely that that's what's occurring. I mean, test it out. If it works, you're welcome. If not, you don't lose anything because this video was free. The second thing I want you to consider, right? The second idea that will help you reset yourself inside of the dating game is to stop looking for a partner, stop looking for a mate according to external values, right? According to external aesthetics, how they look, how tall they are, what they do for work, where they live, what kind of car do they drive. Yeah, all of those things could be factors at some point in time. But primarily, what I believe we should be looking for what people's principles are, right? We should be looking for what their values are. We should be looking for what the foundation of their life is. Like in my coaching or just in business in general, right? Not just coaching. there is an idea that you shouldn't necessarily look for a specific avatar of a person, like, where they live, what they do for work, where they go to school, what type of coffee shops they're visiting on Thursday afternoons, right? It can get deep. But instead of the I forget exactly what they call it, but looking at like the different type of characteristics and attributes, you're looking more for a psychographic, right? You're looking for how this individual thinks. You want to know, what is it that makes them tick? What is their worldview? What is their perception of the world? Are they a victim? Are they showing up as if everything is always happening to them? Are they always looking to blame somebody else? Everything that occurs, is it always somebody else's fault? You want to begin to listen to these things. You want to begin to listen for these things. And it doesn't have to be about relationships. Listen to how they speak about their workplaces, their coworkers, their bosses. Listen to how they speak about their families. Listen to how they speak about dealing with problems, trauma, stress, because all of that's going to be indicative to how they show up in a relationship. And here's the thing, you don't even need to get deep into a relationship with somebody to begin to see these things. Everybody will tell you everything you need to know about them probably within the first week of having consistent conversations, because our language creates our world. And honestly, a lot of people aren't aware of this. It's our language that creates our world. And I'm not necessarily talking about in the law of attraction kind of way or a manifestation kind of way. I'm saying our language creates our world in the sense that how we view things, how things occur to us, comes out in the language that we use. If we're sitting in a position of weakness, if we're sitting in a position of victimhood, we're going to use weak and victim language. But if we're sitting in the seat of the creator of our life, if we're conscious and we're aware of what's occurring in our world, if we're aware of how we contribute, how we create the world around us, that's also going to come out in our language. You want to listen for accountability, right? You want to listen for responsibility. All of that's helpful. The third idea, you have to be willing to walk away. You must be willing to let people go. A lot of people, I find, as I listen to different conversations online, as I read other people's accounts and just what's happening for them, we get way too attached way too quickly. And if we're not willing to let people go, they're going to sense that and they're going to pull away. Or when it comes time for them to separate from us, when it comes time for us to separate from them, we're going to find it extremely difficult. So, and it's because we become dependent upon them. We don't recognize this very often, but I'm glad that more people are actually having this conversation these days. But when we get involved with somebody else, our nervous systems actually begin to intertwine. They begin to help us regulate our life. We begin to help them regulate, especially if there's deep emotional ties there. So when I say you need to be willing to let anybody walk, what I'm saying is you need to be more self-reliant, right? You need to be more whole within yourself as opposed to relying on somebody else to complete you. One thing I'm very clear on is that I'm not looking for a woman to step into my life and complete me. I'm not looking for a woman to complete my life. My life is whole, it's full, even with the death of my wife. My life is still full, my life is still whole. What I'd be looking for is not a replacement. It's not something to, again, not to add on and complete. I'm looking for a complement. I'm looking for somebody to step in and be what I'm not. Because that's what Ieda and I had low key. And that's what every good marriage has in my estimation. Because if everybody is good at the same thing, if everybody is just doing the same thing, we're not necessarily exhibiting exactly what a relationship should be. Now, granted, if your relationship works for you and you're happy, God bless. I'm happy for you, right? But what I see is that relationships are about building harmony. If you think about a piano or any music in general, if everything was the same, if everything was equal, we would have just the same notes over and over again, spaced apart the same way. That's equality. That's sameness. You only get harmony when there are differences, when you have breaks in the sound, right? When you have the rest in between the beats. Harmony is what makes life full. It's what makes life beautiful. So be willing to separate yourself. If that harmony isn't there, if you're not able to build that with someone, if you're not able to find that, it's okay. It's okay. They may not match your resonance. They may not match your frequency. And I don't mean match in terms of being the same. I mean match in terms of just a coming together, right? It's not a sameness again, but it's a playing off of one or the other, one making the other better, or coming together to make a new sound. I think too many people they just want a reflection of themselves. It's weird. Especially if you listen to a lot of these people's, when they have their list. I mean, I had a list too. The Lord actually made me throw it away. That's a completely different conversation for a different video. But when you think about these lists that some people have, in my opinion, what they're looking for is actually a better version of themselves. It's the strangest thing. If you think about your own list, if you think about your friend's list, what they really want is a partner that will come in and be everything that they have the potential to be, but they just haven't stepped into it yet. And in that case, they would be looking for, again, that completion to make them whole, when in fact they can step into that and find their complement and then probably exceed their own expectations times 10. The last idea I want you to consider that will help you reset your dating life, and it's not just about your dating life with this one. This one actually has benefit for your entire world. You must be authentic. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest about who and what you are. If something's not for you, be willing to say that. If there is something you desire, say that. If you're not going to go for a bunch of different stipulations, and if you're looking for a bunch of different other qualifications or whatever the case is, say it. I think there are too many rules. There's so many videos out here talking about dating and how to move and what to say if so-and-so says this, or if they don't respond back in 27 minutes, this is what you do. And it's all a game. Stop playing the game. Because if you're playing the dating game, you're probably not showing up as yourself, but you're showing up as a player. And players inside of the rules are limited. They're restricted. If you're looking to play the game according to the rules, you're going to have a difficult time. You're going to have a difficult time just off the strength that what you gain by not being yourself, you're going to lose the moment your true self wants to show up. That's why it's so difficult for a lot of people to have honest conversations. That's why it's so tough for people to have hard convos, because they're like, oh, well, if I say such and such to this person, they're going to leave me. If somebody was willing to leave you just because you're willing to have a hard conversation, they weren't meant for you in the first place. You know somebody is down for you. At least one way you can begin to see that is if they can stand in the tension with you. If they can hold the space long enough to work issues out, to come to a different consensus, to find common ground. If they're not willing to do that, they're not for you. And that's perfectly okay. And when you are yourself, it actually makes these other ideas a lot easier to implement, right? Because if you're honest with yourself, you'll know yourself. You'll know exactly what you're looking for in another person. You know what you will and what you won't go for. And on top of that, because you know yourself, because you know you have yourself, because you know you have all that God has given you, you're willing to let anybody walk. You're willing to walk at any moment in time. And you know that you're not going to die. And that, I think, is the biggest thing that our nervous systems need to find out. And especially for myself, speaking as a widower, there have been so many things that I've had to work through just in terms of recognizing where it may have been my loneliness reaching or grasping for something. It was just that sense of being in a relationship that I was so used to that it was almost willing to accept anyone. And I had to kind of nip that in the bud very quickly. But again, Thank God for awareness, right? So I actually have an ebook coming out August 3rd, Monday, August 3rd. I'm talking about how you rebuild your identity after a relationship, because that also is a major situation that many people face. And I've gone through so many different transitions in life, many personality, ego deaths, if you will, transitioning from, college athlete to a regular human being, transitioning from being a police officer to a regular civilian again, and now going from being a husband to a widower and a solo dad. All these different transitions have caused me to recreate myself time after time after time. And I've had to rediscover my identity time and time again. So be on the lookout for that. It's going to help a lot of people. I can't wait to share it with you all. Until then, if you haven't, subscribe to the channel, like this video, share it with somebody. I love y'all.